And I think we got a lot of action left in this race before the day is over. They've got the jet blower out, blowing all that debris off.
Sean, Dan Partis, Mike Hogwood in the HDNet booth. You copy?
What's up, Mike?
What'd you say, bud? Looks like your car's been real good and not made a whole lot of adjustments to it. You think you got it, what it takes here to make it through these last 32 laps?
Yeah, it seems like me, Joey, and Jeffrey get the class of the field right now. We got a great car. Casella Waits, number 44, has been awesome the whole race. My guys have done a great job in the pits to put me in position where I'm at right now. We made a couple of changes. We were a little bit tight at the beginning of the race in the center. We're pretty good right now, but I think Jeffrey's the car to beat. So we'll hold them off the best we can and see if we get a top 3 finish.
Got that. How about the racetrack? Does it seem to be changing as the sun goes down, getting a little cooler?
It tightens up a little bit from center off. We seem to be hurting a little bit on forward bite, but overall the car is pretty balanced, and we'll see if we get a shot at it here.
All right, good luck to you there, Sean.
Very interesting what Sean Case had to say in the fact that Jeffrey Earnhardt, who will restart third, is what he feels the strongest car out there. And remember what's happened to Jeffrey on the restarts. The last 4 restarts, he has lost a minimum of 4 positions on the first lap of the restart.
Well, he's got to be up on the wheel here now. He's got to figure out where his issue is on the restart. Unless it's a mechanical issue, you know, there's really nothing he can do about it. But we talked about Jeffrey Earnhardt before that caution. He was one of the fastest cars on the racetrack. So I believe that if he sets sail and gets his rhythm, gets back in the rhythm, he could win this race here today.
Well, Inside MMA is your opportunity to step inside the world of mixed martial arts and find out what it takes to be a champion. Tonight, Inside MMA goes on the road to Las Vegas, where hosts Boss Rutan and Kenny Rice provide news, highlights, expert analysis. It's at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, right here on HDNet, Inside MMA. Here at Dover, Mike Hogwood, Dan Partis, and Natalie Taylor. Let's go down to Natalie.
Hey, remember earlier in the show when I was telling you that Jeffrey Earnhardt was listening to Sean Case's advice about Dover? Well, guess what? It's happening again on this restart. Jeffrey and his team asked Sean Case and Andy Santerre where the best point to get that restart mark is. And it's Sean's advice, go when I go.
Well, that's good advice. When he fires, he needs to put his bumper right up on the back of Sean's Cases and just not get into him, but he needs to fire at the same time.
That Santerre team, they are awfully generous. They are good on the racetrack, but they share a lot of information. They shared a motor with Tim Andrews, and now they're sharing some advice on a restart with Jeffrey Earnhardt, who will be right behind Sean Case. It'll be Case and Logano on row 1. It will be Earnhardt and Jesus Hernandez on row 2, and then watch out for Peyton Sellers.
Still there. Still there. Still there outside. Clear behind him if you want it. All clear.
Well, Jeffrey Earnhardt did the right thing that time. He stayed right sucked up, not let them guys get around him, so that was a good restart by the one car, Jeffrey Earnhardt.
Yeah, that was his best restart of the entire afternoon for Jeffrey Earnhardt in the one car. Joey Logano showed a lot of streak to that restart as well. Peyton Sellers has moved up to 4th, and I really believe right now in the top 4 positions, you have the top 4 race cars in this event. And Joey Logano, Sean Case, Jeffrey Earnhardt, and Peyton Sellers.
I agree with you totally, Mike. These cars have been dominant all day. When they had to come from the back, they've worked their way through. They're able to run on the bottom of the racetrack, in the middle, up on the high groove, and that's so important here at Dover to be able to pass cars up in that second groove because you're carrying so much speed through these corners. You don't get slowed down too much when you catch lap traffic.
Logano now has opened up a couple of car links on Sean Case. The car worth mentioning is Eddie McDonald. He's only run a few races this year in the series, but he does have a win. He won at Stafford, and right now is running 5th. Peyton Sellers getting passed by McDonald and Jesus Hernandez. That's McDonald in the 48, who we told you won at Stafford, finished 10th last week in Loudon, New Hampshire. Boy, and Peyton Sellers has fallen off the pace just a little bit. Hernandez now getting by him.
Yep, you see Hernandez sawing on the steering wheel up on that outside groove. Peyton possibly having a little problem through the center. Looks like his car appears to be a little bit tight.
Coming up on 25 laps to go in this race. As Dan likes to say, it's go time.
Definitely is at this point. 31 car, Tim McCready, Richard Childress Racing entry. He's had an up and down day here.
But you know what? Every time he's been down, he's bounced back and made something happen positive. And if you're a car owner looking for a driver, that's the kind of thing you look for. A guy who has some adversity, but then he gets himself up on the wheel and makes something happen.
Well, I think that's what Richard sees in Tim McCready. Started 21st here today, drove his way up into the top 5, had to go to the back, came back through the field. So his day's been back and forth, but you know what? He's kept his hat on, he's kept his confidence up, and he's taken care of his race car.
Solid top 10 run today for McCready. That's Jerry Martin. That's Sean Steve Park.
Steve Park in the 53 car. He's had a up and down day here also. Currently showing in the 9th position.
Both the Marquis and Park cars, they look the same. One's 35, one's 53. Same sponsor. They're both owned by Bob Torriere. And you remember Marquis jumped in that car halfway through the season when they gave up on Eric Holmes.
Steve Park, winner in a Nextel Cup race, has done a lot of racing in the Nextel Cup, the Busch Series, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, and he's back home to where he originally started in the Grand National East Series. And he loves these cars, he likes racing on these tires, does a few races a year here. This is his first race this year, but he runs so well here last year. Again, we talked about it earlier, he almost won the race, had an extremely good race car. Unfortunately today, not the race car to his liking, but he's in the top 10 right now, so I think he'd have a good run if he could finish in the top 10 here at Dover.
Dan, as the laps wind down here, and it looks like it's going to be a battle between Earnhardt and Logano, as Earnhardt has now gotten past Sean Case. Well, Sean predicted this to us that it would happen.
Yep, looks like Sean Case has been a little bit loose these last few laps, and he gets down in the corner. I think he's been so loose, he's letting Jeffrey by. He knows he was holding him up there a little bit, not able to hold down to that race car. But Jeffrey Earnhardt has got a good race car. It sticks down to the racetrack, and they've been really talking in the last few laps saying, use your head. 21 laps to go.
He's gaining ground on Joey Logano, as you can see. He's almost caught up to him.
Well, Mike, he's a 1/10 of a second faster that last lap, and he really was not in clear running. Again, he had to pass Sean Case and get his rhythm back.
Not going to give you the bottom right away here. Just keep working at him. 19 to go, plenty of time.
That's the spotter for Jeffrey Earnhardt, and as you can see on your screen, Earnhardt has caught up with Logano here at Dover. This is going to be a great battle for the lead between the youngster, the grandson of the late Dale Earnhardt, son of Kerry Earnhardt. And Jeffrey Earnhardt in his rookie season, really the only experience he had been racing local racing at Motor Mile in Virginia.
Talked about Clint Cram, the crew chief on this car. They came and tested here about 3 weeks ago and was real happy. This is the same car that Dale Earnhardt Jr. drove in the All-Star race at Charlotte this year. So it's a good race car. It was one of the cars he drove, and they let him borrow it and said, yeah, take it down there, see what you can do with it. Man, it's really performing well here today.
You know, with the car of tomorrow coming into being and all the races, as this series goes forward, we're going to see a lot of really good race cars with a lot of neat history in this series.
Yes, we are. It's going to be a lot of equipment out there, a lot of good equipment, too. Them cars really, you can only use them for ARCA car or Grand National car, Hooters Cup car. So not a whole lot of places for them to go, and a whole lot of race cars out there once they phase that car of tomorrow in totally in the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series.
Under 20 laps to go. Chase Austin putting the move on Peyton Sellers. But the story up front, can Jeffrey Earnhardt catch up with Joey Logano? Logano has already clinched the championship. And as these laps wind down, Dan, I know you would join me in congratulating Mike David, who won the West Series championship after they wrapped up last week at Altamont.
Yep, exactly. Just a congratulations to that whole team for such a stellar performance. And hats off to them and good luck to them in 2008.
And we know who's won here, Joey Logano, but the story of who's going to win this race is very much in doubt. Sean Case told you he thought that Earnhardt had the fastest car. Hey, in the top 5, who's the old man of the top 5? All these young kids? Well, it's Eddie McDonald at 27 years old. Oldest guy in the top 5.
That's something, ain't it? You were in the 20s before, years ago, racing at a NASCAR top professional level, you would be young.
Well, the 2 leaders, neither one of them is 18. So 17 years old. Joey Logano, I was asking him how celebration plans were going. He said, yep, we're going out and have a couple of Cokes. There's going to be a caution out of car. Is
Joey McDonald. Not Joey McDonald, Eddie
McDonald, who we were just talking about. And he yellows out, and that's going to be, how about this restart coming up? Now you've got Jeffrey Earnhardt, who has not been good on restarts today. I think you and I would both admit that. Going to start alongside Logano with just a few laps remaining. This might be the most important restart of his young career coming up right here.
Well, you're exactly right. Joey Logano knows he has a little problems on the restart, but Jeffrey Earnhardt had an extremely well restart. Here's a spotter.
What you're doing.
Joey Logano's spotter talking to him.
Have for it.
Saying, you know what you're doing? Just protect that corner. So important.
Clinton Cram and the Earnhardt team.
Get up on the wheel and restart here. Don't give anybody anything here. We got to save what we got. Gain some. That's 10 laps here.
Jeffrey Earnhardt spotter telling him, do what you do the best. Son of Kerry Earnhardt.
Catch them.
48
You know,
car.
if I'm not mistaken, that was Kerry Earnhardt. It was on the radio there.
It kind of
Just a
sounded
moment
like
ago.
it.
Sure did.
It really did. Didn't see Kerry here today, but
Well, he easily shows up, believe me, with the sun running and running so well.
yep, there's Kerry right there.
That was Kerry talking to him a moment ago.
A little nervous, I'm sure.
I'm jumping all the way out of the gas, just batting it again, trying to get into turn, and I'm even clipping the apron to get into turn still. So it's tight when I'm behind him. It's arrow tight. All right, well, the restart, you're not going to be behind him. Keep that in mind.
Telling him double file restart here, so a little different deal, huh, Mike?
You and I have had a chance to talk with Jeffrey, and he's a very unassuming young man. He's very quiet, very soft-spoken. Boy, does he remind you of somebody walking around out there.
Yep, lots of
late granddad. I mean, to walk across the garage area.
lots of similarities there,
Mannerisms.
just like his dad, Kerry Earnhardt.
Well, coming up on 10 laps to go, so this is going to be some shootout here. Looking to see if they've about got things cleaned up, and yeah, that's Kerry Earnhardt. Well, Clinton Cram's got to be sweating it out too, and Natalie's down there in the Earnhardt pits. Natalie?
Exactly. Well, you heard Kerry coaching Jeffrey. It's because I got Clinton down here with me. So Joey Logano has been the guy to beat all year and been the guy to beat this race. Does Jeffrey have what it takes?
Yeah, definitely Jeffrey does have what it takes. This is kind of a new position for him to be up here wrestling around with these guys, but he's pumped up right now. The car's been working really good on the long runs. We don't have a long run to get to the end, but he does have what it takes to drive by him with 10 laps to go. Our best has been after 5 laps. We just hope he don't get away. We've been a little weak on the restarts, and Jeffrey's beating himself up over that, but he's done a heck of a job all day long, all weekend really. And we'll let this loud guy go by here, and we just, got our fingers crossed, and it's up to him now.
All right.
Well, you can tell Clinton's trying to watch the race. So, Mike, why don't you
I was going to say, Natalie, let him go. We're about ready to go green here in about half a lap, a little bit other. And thanks to Clinton for giving us his thoughts. And you know what? I agree with what Natalie was asking Clinton Cram about. This guy does have what it takes. Can he get it done today? Well, he's going up against one of the most talented young drivers to come along in years in NASCAR.